If you landed here because you typed in marketing for introverts into your little search bar while you were avoiding yet another networking event, hi, welcome. You're in the right place. I'm Kara, and I need you to know something right out of the gate. I am also an introvert and not in like a cute little, I need to recharge after happy hour in like a, please don't make me do a live video. This is going to take up all my energy and I'm going to need a nap after. I would rather send an email than make a phone call, like that kind of introvert. But yet, here I am, running a successful marketing business, growing my audience, getting clients from Google and Pinterest without showing my face on Instagram stories every day. And I'm going to teach you exactly how. If we haven't met yet, I'm Kara. I do blogging and Pinterest for other small business owners, and I specialize specifically in search driven marketing, which means if you want your business to get found online, I create the content that helps you get found. I create the content that people are finding. You can do it yourself though, so this is not like a lengthy sales pitch. That's just who I am. I really believe to my core that most marketing advice was just not written for introverts. I think we know that. I think a lot of it was written by extroverts who get energy from being seen and talking and posting and engaging, and their advice works for them. But for the rest of us, I just feel like it leads to burnout, avoiding our marketing completely, and just a whole lot of guilt. So, I want to talk about marketing for introverts in a way that actually plays to our strength. If I know you, I know that you've already tried following kind of like the standard marketing advice. You've been told to show up on Instagram stories, you have gone live or you have thought about going live. You've tried to hop on trends, you've recorded reels, danced on camera, whether or not you posted it, and you're trying to find the energy to be in your DMs and comment on every day's post. If that's you and it makes you want to crawl under a weighted blanket, same. It's like I said, most mainstream marketing advice was just not built for introverts. It was built for extroverts. So, right off the bat, let me just say, I feel like the problem is that we've all been handed a marketing strategy that just drains us. And then we're like, what are we doing wrong? Why is marketing so hard for us? I only officially 9-gridded my own Instagram like 6 months ago at the time of recording. Like, it is a fairly recent thing, but I literally posted 9 posts, that cute little 9 grid that's basically like sayonara Instagram. And let me tell you, I've never been happier. I'm not saying all introverts have to give up marketing on Instagram, but I will say I do not think the platform lends itself to be specifically introvert friendly. One of my first ever podcast episodes, so my podcast is the Care Report, very easy, same as my business name. And literally, I think it was episode 3 that was all about how I'm an introvert and I'm kind of awkward in real life. This video that you're seeing that somebody else has edited for me to make me sound normal, just know there was a million takes behind the scenes. So I think I've made it clear that I get where you're coming from. But I do think there's a hidden advantage that introverts have that is just like not talked about enough, specifically with search driven platforms. So that's what I specialize in, right? Like blogging, podcast scripts where you don't have to show your face. I love a podcast. And Pinterest, like ways that we can create content that is going to be found online. I feel like introverts have a massive advantage here because people come to you when they're actively looking for what you offer. There's no convincing energy, there's no push energy. People are like looking for da da da. I want a social media marketing package. Okay, that's probably not your business, but a website designer. I want a writer. I want to, whatever service you do, people are coming to Google or Pinterest or ChatGPT and looking for what you have to offer. And those platforms then reward whoever creates the most helpful, well thought out content. The platforms tend to reward depth over volume. And guess who tends to be really good at depth and substance? Introverts, because we're the ones that actually enjoy researching. We like going deep on topics instead of skimming the surface. We would rather spend 2 hours in our little office crafting something that feels more meaningful than 15 minutes throwing together another carousel. I don't think that that's a weakness. I think that is a competitive edge as long as we're not trying to fit what we are good at onto platforms that really do not reward that. Search driven marketing really isn't about like who is the loudest in the room. It's about being the best answer to what someone is looking for. And introverts are really, really good at that. On top of that, while everyone else is exhausting themselves trying to keep up with this content treadmill, where the more you put out, the more you get in, you can be quietly building something that works for you without you having to show up constantly. And I just think that is a beautiful thing. So I've already kind of teased this enough, I think. Blogging and Pinterest is the best way to market as an introvert, I believe. In 2026, I'm recording this in 2026. This is not outdated advice. So now that we've established that introverts have a legit advantage with search driven marketing, I want to talk about what this looks like in practice. Blogging and Pinterest are two strategies that I built my entire business on. And the reason I love them so much isn't just because they work, it's just because they do not require more and more and more of me to show up. They're also incredibly easy to outsource if you want to outsource your marketing because they don't involve your face. So think about what most marketing asks of you. You have to show your face in stories, you have to go live and talk to people, you have to respond to comments and DMs constantly, you have to hop on trends before they're over. Now think about what blogging and Pinterest ask of you. Write something helpful, optimize it so people can find it, let it work for you while you go live your life. That's it. That's the whole vibe. And trust me, it is a vibe. When it comes to marketing for introverts without social media, in my opinion, there's just a clear winner. Personally, I didn't even talk about like my intro, but I also have a wedding business. I started my destination wedding business in 2017. I'll link a video about that origin story below in the video description. But from 2017 to 2020, I was blogging for my destination wedding business. It still runs today. From a majority of our traffic or customers are coming from those poor blog posts I wrote like 6 years ago now. It's crazy. So I have not only I have this business, which primarily markets through blogging and Pinterest. YouTube is a new thing that I'm trying. So hello. Um, but I also have my wedding business. So I've proved this concept twice and I've helped others now prove this concept for me. So next, I want to talk about outsourcing in case outsourcing is something that you are considering. Like I said, I don't want this video to be a super long sales pitch about my services. What I want this video to sell you on is knowing that blogging and Pinterest are the best ways for you to market your business as an introvert. Period. I believe this to my core. I believe that despite what people are feels like shouting on Instagram and TikTok and all those other places telling you to do more, post more, do this, try this hook, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that it plays into your strengths as an introvert. And again, I'm saying this as an introvert. It doesn't play into my strengths. And I just think we are the same here. But if you are interested in outsourcing, let's talk about it. I do think that blogging and Pinterest are one of the easiest platforms to outsource because they don't require your face. If you outsource your social media management, chances are your social media manager is going to tell you, you have to record these reels, you have to weigh in on these topics, you have to respond to these DMs. I mean, they're your friends, right? So chances are you can't outsource it completely. Whereas like blogging and Pinterest, if you just want to sit back and do the work, you can just sit back and do the work. Most blogging and Pinterest experts are able to just take it off your plate. Topics are coming from keywords and that kind of strategy. So they involve a little bit less like weigh in from you in my experience. However, what I do want to say is like outsourcing works best when you're not outsourcing like the thinking behind your business. So if you already have a solid offer, you definitely want that in place. You need to have a solid offer, a solid value proposition. You need to know why you're different, why people should hire you, who your competitors are, and why you're better than them or different than them or whatever. And then you can pretty much hand off the writing, the Pinterest design, the publishing, the scheduling, the optimization, like all of it. What you can't skip is knowing your ideal customer and why your product or service is best for them. I feel like outsourcing tends to backfire when you hire someone and hope they'll magically create the strategy and results with no input from you, or you keep switching topics or offers or audiences before anything has time to work. I haven't talked about the cons of blogging and Pinterest, and the biggest is that they take a while to work. Like 6 to 12 months, honestly, of consistent effort before you start to see an ROI. So that's the third reason that outsourcing content backfires is that you treat content like a quick test instead of an asset that compounds. At the end of the day, you don't need to become a different person to market your business. You don't need to show up on Instagram with an alter ego or whatever other strategies that you've tried. You don't need to force yourself onto platforms that drain you or pretend to love showing up on camera when the thought makes you want to hide under your desk. Because same, what you need is just a system and platforms that play into your strengths. And for most introverts, I really think that blogging and Pinterest are it. They let me, I like to say, like create once, get down for months. I actually have a private podcast. I'll link to it in the video description where I walk you through my philosophy on building content that lasts for the long haul. So definitely listen to that next if you want. And yeah. I think what I want to leave you with is that sustainability in your marketing is not just about choosing the right platforms. It's really about choosing something that is going to help you sustain your energy long term, because chances are your energy will deplete before anything else does. If you want to outsource it, details will be in the description box below for where to find me. Other than that, I'll see you in my next video.